Well, boy, howdy! Welcome to another episode of Willis Talk, where anything can be the subject of the subject of the subject of the day, and where you might get a little loony or toony, or laugh a loony toony and Please remember that nothing on my site is meant to offend, but if you are offended, please stop watching it. Now down to the business. It is sad when you walk down the street and you see garbage, and you go to stores and you see signs that say, oh, we are going to do away with this or we do away with that. Well, I live in Salem, and Oregon, to be precise. And they passed a while back a bill banning trash bags, single-use trash bags. Okay, well, that does cut down a little bit on the waste that's out there on the streets. Not by much. Now when you got hundreds, in some places thousands in America, out on the street, living, being pushed around from place to place. Yes, I'm saying pushed. They are trying to make a living. Some of them, yes. Some of them aren't trying. They're just living day to day because they've either given up or they don't care or they're on drugs. It is our nation's responsibility to our people to help those people, to get them off the street, not to chase them from street corner to street corner just because they're trying to take a nap. Another one passed here in the greater area was, and as I understand that some people are taking up, which I think is stupid and foolish. Very stupid and foolish. We hold our truck drivers to a high standard where they can only drive so many hours. This I agree with 100%. They should only drive so many hours and keep logbooks and such. And they should also be paid a fair wage like they are, I think. Maybe. Now, who knows? I haven't researched it exactly yet. But supposedly, after some incidents in the past, that became different. Then you have these RVs out on the road. These RVs, some of them are just as big and heavy as any one of those 18-wheeler trailer trucks. Especially once you load it down with everything that you must take from your home with you on vacation because you just gotta have it all, including grandma's and the whole collection of DVDs because you can't trust anybody nowadays. You don't know. You might come home and they be all stolen, broken into, and harder than heck to replace some of them. More truth in fiction than that. Wouldn't happen if your neighbor kept an eye out, and your other neighbor, and your other neighbor, and your other neighbor. At least everybody has at least 4 neighbors somewhere, unless you live way out in the country. And then you still have neighbors. You have more neighbors because the property might surround more, but they're neighbors. And you should be good to your neighbor. Always good to your neighbor. Good to your neighbor. That's because you care a lot. People have lost so much respect, though, and common sense. If it's unsafe for those 18-wheelers to be rolling after so many hours of driving, ain't it unsafe for an RV that's pretty much the same everything? Shouldn't it be stopped and not chased away, especially if it's homeless? You know they've got other problems, other issues that makes their driving unsafe. Even if they happen to actually not be high. and able to legally drive. Nobody should be homeless. Not in today's day and age. There are more people in the United States, and probably other nations too, even after recent events and catastrophes and such, that don't have jobs. I myself know handfuls of people that don't have jobs. And don't know people that don't have jobs. The bums, in other words. I see them, but I don't know them. They are there. There are a few of them that try, but they need help. And that brings back to the bag issues. That didn't really lessen the trash issue. It just made it worse. Heavier, dutier, reusable. Well, sort of. I had one split on me just the other day on its first use. So, they're not 100%, people. But those things are heavier. They're causing a lot more problems. And all this trash, too, all over just here. What about other places? I've seen pictures, and it's getting trashy, people. All because the city of whatever doesn't say, hey, let's take a few trash cans out there and have them serviced all the time. Let's put some work crews out there and get it cleaned up. We can't keep pushing people around. We push them around legally or literally, either way, it just spreads the mess. It makes it worse. Clean it up. You learn that in nursing. You learn that in millworking. You learn that in pretty much any dang job. Clean up your mess, right? Are not these people part of your nations? I would say, yes, they're living on your land. Clean it up. Stop making people suffer. Stop promoting the suffering. It doesn't help anything. If anything, it worsens the situation at hand. And nobody can have fun like this. It's horrible. You should see I was kicked out, destitute, all because I lacked $5. $5, make a holla for my room. I had no other option than to go to a flop house where all my things were stolen. Then I couldn't get a job because I had no ID. I came to this America looking for hope and opportunity. I hope a lot. Opportunity has failed. It was a dream that has died. Unless I fight hard, harder, and yet harder. But it seems hopeless. It is hopeless. Sometimes. Especially by yourself and if you don't know what to do. I hope some of the episodes that I'll be bringing up in the future will give people hope. They will be instructional. They will stand alone on their own. Just like every episode will have its own name. They may be in different categories. But it's all just part of my mind's eyes. Until next time, this is Willis signing off.